This is BigBig Won's latest flagship controller, the Blitz 2 TMR. In this video, I'll be going over its price, the unboxing experience, tech specs, design and hand feel, software, and some in-game tests. Quick disclaimer, this controller was sent to me for free by BigBig Won, but I had no restrictions for this review. Everything I say here is my honest opinion. Stick around until the end for my final thoughts, and if you want to see more controller reviews like this, consider subscribing and hitting the like button. Alright, let's get into it. The Blitz 2 TMR is currently available on Amazon in the United States for $79.99. It comes in this sleeved box, which is sturdy and made of high quality cardboard, and inside you'll find some paperwork, the controller, here's the 2.4 GHz dongle, a high quality braided USB A to C cable, which is probably my favorite controller charging cable. I like that it's braided but isn't super stiff. Some extra thumbstick variations, an alternate D-pad, and rubberized pads that stick to the extra back and top buttons. Overall, the unboxing experience for the Blitz 2 TMR is very nice. I do wish it came with a charging dock, but the extra stick variations, D-pad, and rubber button grips are a nice touch. The Blitz 2 TMR obviously features TMR joysticks, but it also has a 2000 Hz polling rate for both wired and wireless modes, a 1000 Hz polling rate for gyroscope motion controls, micro switch face buttons, mechanical triggers and D-pad, 4 extra buttons including 2 on the back and 2 up top, warp around rubberized grips, and a 1000 mAh battery. For those of you who don't really care about the technical buzzwords, TMR sticks consume less power than Hall effect sensors and offer higher accuracy. Also, the higher the polling rate, the less latency you'll experience most of the time. This is especially apparent when using the 1000 Hz gyroscope controls, which feel great. As you can see, I tested this feature on my Switch 2, and it worked flawlessly. When testing the Blitz 2 TMR's polling rate, I was able to get about 1.5 kHz here, but when I swapped my setup around, I was able to get closer to 2000 kHz. I'm not sure why this happened, but I'm working on older hardware, so who knows. The 12-bit TMR sticks also performed exceptionally well when testing their linearity. Here, I got 9,927 data points and a 1045 point resolution. These results are really good. Everything also feels nice and responsive on Gamepad Tester, and both thumbsticks have between a 2.5 and 2.8 circularity error. I recently got this digital force gauge and used it here to test the stick tension. With the default thumbsticks installed, it requires about 50 grams of force to fully engage the sticks, which is comparable to a standard Xbox Series controller. From a design perspective, I think the Blitz 2 TMR gets mostly everything right. The color choices and logo are sleek and futuristic looking, but I don't really like the polling rate being on the side of the grip. It's kind of like a burrito having the word delicious branded on it. Of course, this is just my personal taste, so if you like it, then that's totally cool too. I also think more color options like black or maybe darker gray would have been nice. Other than those minor gripes, I genuinely love holding this controller. The mechanical buttons are responsive and easy to press, the D-pad is sturdy, and the stick tension feels good. The triggers are also super satisfying and addicting to use. But if you primarily play racing games, then you should know that the triggers don't have locks and are always micro switches. Just something you should be aware of. I wasn't sure if I'd like the grips since they're more vertical like the 8-bit Do Ultimate 2, but thankfully I find them much more comfortable. It might be because this controller is larger than the Ultimate 2, but I'm glad I haven't had a hard time adjusting to it. The extra top bumpers are awkwardly far in, but the extra rubber pads make them slightly easier to reach. These things are helpful, but I really wish they were attached in a different way. It's a shame you can't swap them on and off without degrading the adhesive. Overall, the design and hand feel of the Blitz 2 TMR is very solid. The BigBig Won app for Windows, iOS, and Android can be downloaded straight from their website. Just connect your controller, select your model, and start tweaking. Here you can adjust your gyro controls, stick dead zones and linearity, key mapping, vibration, macros, and polling rate. This software can definitely be a bit janky sometimes though. For instance, some areas are left untranslated and in Chinese, which make them unusable for me. The profiles also don't seem to appear on my mobile app the same way they do on PC, which is a bit frustrating. I hope that BigBig Won works out some of their software issues in the future. At the very least, some improved Chinese translations would be appreciated. I've definitely noticed how accurate these TMR sticks are when playing Call of Duty. It's hard to explain, but it kind of feels like you have control freaks on by default. I like to map my jump and slide buttons to the back paddles so I can keep sliding around without taking my fingers off the sticks. The micro switch triggers also let you shoot quickly, which I love. The controller also performs well in Marvel Rivals. Playing hit-scan heroes like Punisher feels really smooth. I swap my profiles around to jump and reload on the back paddles and change the top bumpers depending on what hero I'm playing. You can also remap on the fly with button commands, which is really handy. Honestly, I wasn't sure how I'd feel about the Blitz 2 TMR when I first saw it, but this thing has really surprised me. Not only am I genuinely impressed with how it performs, but I actually think it justifies the $80 asking price. I think the quality and feature set of the Blitz 2 TMR puts it right up there with the competition, and even has some features I prefer. I like both D-pad options on this controller much more than the GameSir G7 Pros, and the micro switch triggers feel way better than the Flydigi Apex 5 trigger stops. Of course, all of this is personal preference, but I do believe this controller deserves to be in that conversation. If you're an avid shooter player and are looking for a solid option to up your game, then I definitely recommend the Blitz 2 TMR. The price to performance ratio you get with this controller is spot on, and if you enjoy the design, then it's a big win.
Boo, you stink!
If you want to check out the Blitz 2 TMR for yourself, I've linked it in the description below. Let me know what controller you want me to review next in the comments, and if you found this review helpful, consider subscribing and hitting the like button. Thanks again to BigBig Won for sending me this controller, and I'll see you guys next time.